Really proud of our team, especially in the second half with their effort. We've been down now in 3 games and found a way to come back, regrouped again at halftime, changed up our defense a little bit more where we wanted to trap and leave certain players. Give Oral Roberts a ton of credit. I thought they played really, really well, played really hard. We made a decision that we were going to try to limit number 0 as best we could on his pick and pops. I thought we did a really good job limiting him to 7 field goals attempted. Justin Smith did a great job. We just felt like there was no way we could let both 0 and 3 both have big games. And when they went to their bench, we kind of left the bench players and tried to trap the ball, and I thought that really helped ignite our transition offense in the second half.
All right, thank you, Coach. We're going to turn first to Curtis Wilkerson. Curtis is with Hog Sports.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Was wondering if you could just talk about Devo's play tonight and then obviously the big shot there at the end.
I mean, we don't run any plays for Devo, at least not right now. We will next year, obviously. But, I mean, he's just a guy that just balls. He just plays. I mean, you look across the board at him. First of all, he guarded Abmas, number 3, and I thought he did a great job. Even though he had 25, he took 19 shots. We held him to 3 threes, which he's such a great three-point shooter with great range. But he did have 5 turnovers, and so you're asking Devo to guard at a high level. He goes out and has 8 rebounds. He has 16 points, 2 assists. His rebounding was phenomenal. Even Desi, I thought Desi did a great job on the glass, getting 6 boards. And, we felt like we had a mismatch in the post with certain matchups. And I thought Jalen Tate did a great job of scoring points in the paint. Because, we weren't great offensively tonight, but obviously found a way to win. And I thought some of our steals helped us, but Devo was phenomenal on both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively.
Next up, we have Andrew Hutchinson with Hog Beat. Andrew?
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the early deficits. Has there been a common theme in these 3 games behind those deficits? What's contributing to those, and what was the key tonight to digging out of that hole?
Just, you got to keep searching. As a team, as a coaching staff, for a matchup you like. We worked all week on our pick and roll coverage. I thought it was decent. Looking at the first 2 games Oral Roberts played, I think our pick and roll defense was probably a little bit more effective than what they saw in games 1 and 2. Not much though, but slightly. But I thought our trapping, and trying to get the ball out of certain players' hands was very effective. We didn't want to do that going into the game because they have so many surrounding pieces that are shooters. I mean, certainly we'd all like to get out to a lead, but at the end of the day, there's going to be runs. And, right now, we've been a really, really good second half team all year. And you've got to be able to make adjustments at halftime, and you got to, we basically resorted to our plan D coverage. And I'm just glad we had a full, week to go through multiple coverages. Now that won't be the case heading in to the next game on Monday.
Next up, we have a question from Bob Holt from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Bob, if you could please unmute.
Yeah, Eric, I know that wasn't a design play, Tate to Devo. They're basically making plays in the flow of the game. But just what did you see there? And is that something you guys have kind of worked on?
Yeah, we ran, one of our go-to plays late in the game, a fist out red. And, part of the red is a snake action on the weak side. And Devo just kind of read it and ran a snake action to kind of semi-bend it or curl it. And I thought Tate made the right read. And Devo's just a guy, he's a shot creator. And for a freshman, that's a pretty big stage to ask him to do what we ask him to do defensively and then to hit some of the shots that he hit. Even in the first half, I thought his dribble drive when he sliced through the defense was our best offensive play in the first half. I thought he played with a different energy especially in the first half. And it's been really, really neat and cool to watch him continue to grow and to watch his confidence continue to grow.
Next up, Scotty Bordelon. Scotty's with Whole Hog Sports.
Oh, and by the way, Devo's been walking around with sunglasses. So he's feeling pretty good about it, the way he's playing too.
Hey, Coach. Jalen Tate kind of kept y'all afloat offensively in the first half, and he scored pretty well in half, and then finished with 6 assists for the game. I guess could you just speak to the importance of his plays? He had some pretty big shots down the stretch before Devo's.
Yeah, Scotty, he hit huge shots, and just his size against their guards, that was one of the focal points of the game plan offensively, was to try to, with our bigger guards, was to score it. And we needed him to play well. Desi provided, really good bench minutes, but that was, we didn't get much out of our bench other than Desi coming in, and Desi did a good job defensively, and he did a good job rebounding the basketball as well for his position. It was just kind of, their bench didn't score. Really unique game in that aspect, but our free throws going 13 from 15 to the line, not a high volume of FTAs at all in this game. I thought there was a little bit more physical contact maybe, but we converted our foul shots, which is extremely, extremely important. And then I like the fact that we had, 7 steals to just 10 turnovers, and a couple of those turnovers were, early in the game we had 2 that we shouldn't have had, and then I thought we turned the ball over in that transition segment back to back, just trying to make home run plays, which we have got to take great care of the basketball against Baylor. They're very physical defensively. They reach, swipe at the basketball, and you're going to have be strong with the ball and make secure decision making when you play Baylor.
Next up from ESPN, we have Jeff Borzello. Jeff?
Hey, what's up, Coach? Congrats on the win. The final possession defensively, Devo said you guys kind of expected A. Smith to banana cut and catch the ball. Did you give any thought to, just totally denying him the ball and making somebody else beat you?
Well, we didn't really want to deny it, but we did double team. We didn't guard the inbounder. And I think Thompson inbounded the ball, and he's a good shooter. Tate and Devo, we're just trying to semi-use clock. He got it. He got a look, obviously. We did not want to foul either, Jeff. That was, the last thing we want to do is foul one of the best free throw shooters in all of, college basketball. But we felt like 2 defenders and trying to keep the ball in front. What we didn't want to do is we didn't want to deny him the ball, have them flash a guy, and then hit off the deny where he now has a lane, or an open shot with nobody in front of him. That's the reason that we didn't deny. We talked about it, we discussed it, and felt like if we could just kind of cup him with 2 guys, that was better than having him, make a Z cut and end up with the ball off a denial.
Next up, we have John Titel from Hoops HD. John?
John Titel from hoopshd.com. Your father, Bill, was a coach for 25 years, and Scott Drew's father, Homer, won more than 600 games, and Wayne Tinkle coached his son, Trace, for 5 years at Oregon State, and Jim Boeheim's best player is his son, Buddy. My question, what makes the father-son bond so special when it comes to basketball coaches?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm sure that each person that you just mentioned has their own story. My dad, I can only speak for myself. My father was my idol, my best friend. For Halloween, I wanted to be a coach. After, school, when I was in grade school, my mom would drop me off at my dad's practices, and I'd stay till 10 or 11 at night until he finished breaking down film or having staff meetings. And I just wanted to walk in his footsteps. And now I have my own son on staff here, and he obviously wants to get into coaching. I have a younger son who's in college, and I know he wants to get into coaching when he graduates from the University of San Diego. But I think everybody's got their own story. But, when you're around it, you either fall in love with it. And I know a lot of coaches' sons that aren't in coaching because it's a very, very tough life. It's a conversation that my mother and I have had several times when when I decided to get into coaching, just how difficult it is. Coaches get fired, and it affects family, but you know, it's what I loved, but I was warned by my mom. I promise you that.
All right, next up, we have Brian Hamilton from The Athletic. Brian.
Eric, Brian Hamilton from The Athletic. You mentioned Devo's growth, his confidence growing. What have been the important steps along the way to bring him to this point?
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, I kind of look at sometimes freshmen like NBA first-round draft picks. And, you know, sometimes guys are just, you know, handed minutes and you know, I don't know if that's the proper way to teach a player. You know, Devo has turned into one of the best defenders in college basketball. That was not the case this summer. I would actually say he was pretty far behind defensively, and he worked and he grew and he continued to come into practice. He continued to watch film. He continued to study. You know, a lot of freshmen play early in non-conference, and then their minutes dwindle in conference play. You know, we took the opposite approach with two of our freshmen, where they learned through non-conference. They learned our terminology, both Jalen Williams and Devo. And then once conference play came, they understood who we were, what the expectations were, and both those guys have grown tremendously, and they've done it against better competition as the season's gone on. But both those freshmen, along with Moses, have incredible confidence, and Devo's an incredible competitor, and he believes that he's a great player, and that's why he's able to take big shots and he's able to take big defensive assignments.
Just two more questions for you, Coach. The next one is Patrick Dallahan. Patrick, if you could please identify who you're affiliated with.
Hey, Coach, Patrick Dallahan, CBB 365. And you obviously mentioned that Devo was walking around with sunglasses on. Do you have like a little confident strut, and like what kind of sunglasses was he wearing when he was walking around?
They're not the type of sunglasses I would wear down in Pacific Beach in San Diego, but I don't know, he just all of a sudden, the last 48 hours, been wearing sunglasses into our dinners or breakfasts or yeah, so I think he's got, if he's wearing them and I haven't seen him, he might have been wearing them around me prior to this, but you know, even when the sun's not out, he's wearing them, which maybe I ought to start wearing a pair as well.
And follow-up questions about people that wear sunglasses. A PFT commenter of Pardon My Take, one of your biggest fans. What do you have to say to those guys at Pardon My Take about your post-game celebration so far?
We didn't celebrate too much. We just got to get ready. But I mean, I love Pardon My Take. They know that.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. Our last question this evening comes from Bob Holt again with the Democrat Gazette.
Yeah, Eric, in 2018-16, you had a heartbreaker against Loyola, and then you know tonight you're on the good side of one of those tight games. Kind of, how would you compare and contrast the emotions? You know, what you're feeling now compared to what that was like, and how sweet is it to be in the Elite Eight?
I mean, it's an incredible feeling to be in an Elite Eight. You know, just our second year. I really can't describe it, Bob. You know, yeah, it was. I mean, when they took the last three, because against Loyola it was a sidestep three, almost in the same exact spot on the floor, and we had defended it perfectly, and they made the shot, and you know, we were probably one shot away from beating Loyola and being in the Elite Eight that year, and I still think about that shot over and over. I guess tonight the basketball gods were looking over us.